All right, I think we are live. Let me go ahead and check a few things just to see if we're live. It's been a little while, so I'm a bit rusty, but it's all right. We're going to jump right into things here. So let me just check and make sure I got the chat. All right. All right. I got my testing screens, but they're not showing. Right, we're going to jump right there into it is. Things here. So let me just check and make sure. Let me turn that down. All right, when you jump on and you are here, let me know inside of the chat. That way, I know there's somebody there and I'm not talking to myself, feeling crazy. You know how it is, but it'd be good to hear from you. As usual, it's late night, so I'm rocking my tea and my trusty Elementor mug. Still rocking it. All right, just checking out my system right now. And if you're wondering, my screens are all over the place, literally all over the place. Camera right here, screen right here, screen right here, screen right here, and another big monitor here. I'm going to have to get another camera. In fact, it's been on my to-do list to get a second camera to start getting multiple angles. I want to take production to the next level. So I'm going to be experimenting with a lot of things coming up for the rest of this year. But yeah, let's see. Eddie, what is up? La Rosa, what is going on? All right, cool. I'm not alone. All right, I'm not talking to myself. All right, you guys just validated I'm not crazy. So thank you very much for that. All right. Just going to give it a minute. It's kind of dusting off the cobwebs, it's been a while. It's been a while since doing one of these lives and just a little bit of behind the scene of what it's like doing a live stream like this. Well, when you haven't done it in a while, when I haven't done it in a while, you get ready to do it again, but then it's like, wait, what are we going to do? We're just going to talk to a camera in a room by yourself. And then, procrastination starts to kick in. But I don't want that to happen. It's been quiet for too long. I have a lot of big things coming up, a lot of plans. And a big part of it is doing these right here. I got a lot of things that I want to do. A lot of things. I got for an example, all right, yesterday and the night before, I was working on my latest video, which is creating background graphics in Figma and then adding them to Elementor. There's a lot actually that goes into that when you are creating these kind of graphics. Inside Figma, well, it's not all about just creating mockups. There are other things we could do inside of there as far as creating graphics. But then there's also little like tricks and hacks that we have to do that I've learned throughout the years. Being able to take certain types of graphics and upload them to a site in a certain way and to make sure they're optimized. So I was working on it for a while. Finally got things set up to the stage where I could have fun with the designs and start creating some of the designs right before recording. And then it hit me. Why am I not live streaming this? Like, I'm having all this fun creating these really dope designs and just geeking out, doing what I love to do. And it just hit me that this would be great just to live stream because I'm sure it's the same for other content creators out there when they're making YouTube videos like this. There is a lot of steps before you actually record. There's a lot of setups, there's a lot of preparing, also testing, validating, all kinds of things. So, there are things I've always wanted to do, like bring on guest speakers, have tear down buildups of web designs and other people's websites, like we've done before inside the past. I want to continue that, but then also I wanted to do live design sessions where we're taking Figma mockups and just sit down for a couple of hours, like doing the things I love to do, just turning the camera on and letting everybody see inside of my process. So that's where I'm at right now. And let me go back to the chat. Dave, what is going on, Dave? So good to see you here. All right, James. Awesome, man. Awesome. I feel like I feel like it took a break and I'm coming back and I'm like seeing my friends who I haven't seen in a while, looking at this chat. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. All right, really quick, I was thinking, what are we going to do? Turn on the camera and talk. But then there are some things that I wanted to talk about, some things to geek out about. Also have, I want this space to be open as well for, just being open for asking questions and having dialogue to the best that we can have dialogue inside of this setup right over here. Also catch you up with everything. But before we get in, all right, I have to give a really big shout out to the Bricks support team, also xCloud's support team as well, and just xCloud, the platform in general. So here's the deal. I've been working on the new Lytbox Academy website. The last one I wasn't really too happy with. There wasn't a clear design system. There's a lot of technical things in the back end, a lot of customizations built, which is the reason why I went with bricks on my own site. And on the new site, I wanted to make it lighter, reduce some of those technical customizations that we built, and instead rely on Circle's system for a lot of things. That way it just makes it easier for everybody. And then to also have a clear design system. So I'm working on the Lytbox Academy site. It's coming out pretty well. Got a good flow going. I have a clear goal of completing it, knocking it out, getting it to an MLE, or I'm sorry, the MVP stage to push it live. But then all of a sudden, nothing was saved. And it wasn't like it's a spinning wheel. It's like you save it, it says it's saved, but then the updates don't hold. They just don't take place. You refresh it, all the work done is lost. And then you start to remove some sections, and then the work comes back. And you can save again, and then you keep going, and then it is lost. And I spent 4 days like doing nothing but trying to figure out what is going on before I even reached out to the Bricks team. Like, if there's a bug or if there's an error, I'm going to do everything I can to find out what it is and try to fix it on my own before I ever resort to support. It's how I learn. I want to know what it is. But man, this was beyond me. I contacted my man Alan, Alan Blair inside the Bricks community. He is a Bricks expert. So I'm like, okay, if anybody can figure this out, it's Alan, because his dev skills are way above mine. But we were on the call for like a good couple of hours, and we tried everything and could not find it. I reached out to my lead developer, my main dev that I worked with for years. Also, his skills are phenomenal. He couldn't find it. So I reached out to xCloud. xCloud tried to find it. If any of you are wondering what xCloud is, it is like, it's basically just like RunCloud. It is another cloud server. I'm losing the thought on the right term. It's another cloud panel that you can manage your cloud servers on. And they couldn't find it. They really, really tried. All right. So I was reaching out with Bricks, and we're going back and forth for a few days, several days on it. 3 Brick support went on the site and nobody could find the error. And then after about 3 or 4 days, Thomas reached out inside of an email, and I, just asked for certain accesses, and I gave those. And then a few days later, they came back. They found that the issue was inside of the database schema. There was something off. It was saying text instead of long text. Like, it was like, to find that. All right. It was next level, to find and figure out that was that issue. It took a lot of deep searching. And I do got to give a shout out to Bricks, their support for going in and doing that. That was way above and beyond. And then I reached back out to xCloud. I shared with them what the Bricks team found. They immediately changed their database schema markup. And this is a reason why I have been making the switch from RunCloud to xCloud. There's nothing wrong with RunCloud. RunCloud is awesome. I've had nothing but good experience with them. RunCloud, Cloudways, those have been my go-to for years. And I still think they are the best out there. I went with xCloud because I got an LTD and I am frugal. I am going to try to save money where I can, if I can, but I'm also very careful when it comes to hosting. Very, very careful. So I bought the LTD and I explored and played around with it for a while. And I kept a very close eye on it before deciding to move from RunCloud to xCloud. And throughout that time, I have seen xCloud quickly make updates, make changes. There have been times where I found something or gave feedback to them, and they immediately, I'm talking about like within a couple of hours, made changes. Something like the Hetzner servers, having the option for the dedicated server as well as a share. I asked them for that in an hour. They delivered it on their platform. And then just the fact that it's off and needs to be fixed and they immediately fix it. Well, that is a team that, that I feel like I am good working with, that I am good putting my business in it, because when we're working with hostings, we're trusting a host with our business. Now, all right, that was a bit of a lot right there, but let me go ahead and check and see what's happening in this chat. Stacy, what is up, man? All right, Imran, what's going on, bud? So good to see you, man. So good to see you. Man, Imran, if only we had like 3 or 4 eyes, right? And like more hands and all that. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Yep, Dave, definitely. Dave says the Bricks team is small but mighty. Let me move this icon over here so it's not getting in the way. They are absolutely, like, for real, that was next level. All right. Figuring that one out, that was next level. I have run across bugs and things before. I've ran across some pretty gnarly ones that took days, but database schema being off, man, that is next level. I see a video with Dave really soon. So just throwing that out there, Dave. I know we've been talking. I really love seeing what you're doing, man. You're going out there, you're putting things out there, you're putting yourself out there, you got passion, and yeah, man, I really love seeing what you're doing right now, man. Keep going forward. And I definitely see us. I would love to do a stream with you soon. I know we've already been talking about it, but hopefully we could get one of those in the near future. All right, Eddie. Eddie asked, would I recommend xCloud? Yes, most definitely. In fact, let me see right now. Let me go here. We're going to do some screen sharing inside this one, but I got to remember how to do it. It's been a little while since okay, wait, I have my screen. There it is. There is a screen share. Cool. So let's go to xCloud. I want to see first, do they have not Xbox, xCloud. They had the LTD. Now okay, the LTD ended. No, wait, it just popped back up right here. So, here's how I made my decision. First, I was with them for a while. I tested them out, and the speed and reaction that they have shown towards everything made me more confident in them. And now it is more polished. I am going to be hosting the new Lytbox Academy site on here. So definitely I would recommend it because I, made the decision to use it. But the thing is, it's like, okay, it's $400. I think I got a better deal because I got it when it first launched, when, Jewel from the Fluent team announced that, this is one of his investments right here. Something, and I like the Fluent team. I like everything that Jewel has done. He's a really good guy, and I jumped on her right away. I'm like, hey, I'm very picky with LTDs, but if this is good, like Run Cloud, okay, Run Cloud is dope. Like, it's awesome. There's no doubt. Oh, it's going to log me in. I don't want to log in to Run Cloud. This is the reason I went in. I know I could be overly frugal sometimes, but I use a pro version for a while just to save quite a bit. Because this one is right here at 3750. This is close to 400. I got to do the exact math. This is about 400 a year. And for this one, for the business, you need the business for certain things like Magic login, teams, adding teams, having more, server level firewalls on here. Well, I get all of that with xCloud. Oops, that's not what I wanted to show. What happened? Did I close my xCloud? Yeah, I get that already with this on the LTD. It has 8G firewall, 7G firewall, 6G firewall. It has a lot of things in there. You know what? I could do on the next stream. I haven't set this up. I would rather set something up just so I don't share any personal information that I don't want out there on my server. But I'll get something set up if you guys are interested, and I could show it on next week's live stream. I'd be happy to give it an inside look because there's a lot. There's a lot going in there, and if you want to, to not pay 400 a year for this and get the LTD, well, it was a good deal. Oops, again, the wrong one. The only thing is, this is for unlimited servers. I do have to point that out. This is for unlimited, and I believe the LTD is for only 5 servers. That's it. So if you want more than 5 servers, then you got to pay more for it. All right, let's go back here to the stream. I want to see what is cracking in the chat. Uh-oh. Well, what's that about Wix, Imran? Okay, Imran mentioned something about Wix. Are we doing Wix here? Who's doing Wix? All right. Awesome. Zarwing, awesome. That is dope. I'm really happy. By the way, really quick, I gotta ask, and I gotta try this out again. So when the off-canvas widget came out for Elementor, right when it came out inside beta, I think I had to, use the dev version, but I tried it and it didn't work, and I didn't see the text. I want to test it again because the big problem with the pop-up for the mobile menu on Elementor is, like the HTML doesn't show until you trigger it. So that isn't great for SEO. And then there's also a possibility that that ad blockers can't prevent that. So I have to test it. It's next on my list. I've been doing more design work, but I do have, I do want to update some Elementor stuff coming up. Okay, that's awesome. So Eddie's pointing out that xCloud is free for one server with unlimited applications. So, whoa, it is kind of pricey now. It is. I think if it was like 7, 8, maybe 10 servers and you could fill them up, that would be great. Uh, but I didn't even know that you could get a free server. That's crazy. I don't know. Has anybody out there? Is anybody wondering uh what all this is? Run Cloud, X Cloud, and this type of hosting. I do have plans for an in-depth video showing the different hosting types. So that's something that is on my to-do list because things have changed. Like in these last couple of years, the way we host sites has changed. I remember, was it like 5, 6, 7 years ago when managed WordPress came out? managed WordPress. What was it with Managed WP, then Flywheel? They came out with a new type of hosting that was different from your shared cPanel type of hosting. So we have a newer, which is something that I do plan to go more into depth. But if anybody is wondering, go ahead and let me know. I'd be happy to try to break it down a little bit more. Just keep in mind it's late night here. All right, so all right, James. Absolutely. So this is a really, really good point, and I'm with you on this, La Rosa. Most definitely. When it comes to hosting, I would not change often. I would be very, very careful if it's working for you. I would stick with what is working and then wait until you can see that it is going to have a significant impact on you for changing. It should be for performance, for cost. Those two right there are the big factors, and security and all the other things. But I look at like the security and all that going into like the performance area, like just a build. But you got to be careful hosting when you change it. It's tricky. There are things that could happen. There are unforeseens, and it is just something that, like I said, when we put our site somewhere, we're trusting it somewhere, so we got to be really careful with that. All right, Imran, you're clowning, man. You're clowning. All right. xCloud versus GoDaddy and Bluehost. Clowning, man. So, all right. First off, if anybody's promoting Bluehost, all right, and you know what? I'm going to start calling out people because I've been in my tongue for so long doing this, and I want to keep things positive, but at the same time, I get frustrated when I see other content creators promoting things that are terrible because they are making money off of it. So if you are seeing anybody promoting Bluehost as the host to go to and sending you links for that, and they're creating Elementor videos and WordPress videos, man, be careful of them. Be careful, because I don't know. I don't know. Has anybody ever anybody with experience, have you ever had, success with Bluehost servers? Would you still use it? And if you were to go to a seasoned web designer, web creator, WordPress developer, you know, they're going to be like, you're clowning, right? If you talk about Bluehost. Okay, Dave, definitely, definitely. You know what? That might be a good live stream in its own as well. So some of my plans, like this is like right now, I just want to kick off the dust and get back in the groove. Like dust off the cobwebs. I took some time off. It was intentional as well, and I debated. Before doing this, like this has been on my mind for a few weeks, and I have procrastinated probably these last 2 months. But before that, I took about a good 4 months off. It wasn't just off of the live streams; it was off of a lot of things. I had to take time. I had to go back to the States and spend time with family. Uh, things happen. Life shows up sometimes, and when it does, the most important things are family and health. And when that happens, we got to put that first. And that situation came up for me. I had a loss for somebody close, somebody in my family. I went back, I was there. Uh, and I feel really, really blessed to be doing what I do because look, if I was working at my last job at the Home Depot, if I worked at a regular 9 to 5, I would not have been able to do what I was able to do when life showed up, when things happen. If you have like a normal job, you got to ask for time off. You might get a pay cut. You might get very limited amount of time, and not being able to take the appropriate amount of time, the time that you want to take. So this is why I'm so passionate about teaching web design and helping freelancers and agency owners, because those of us doing this, we are really, really blessed. that we have what we have and we're able to do this, because life does show up at times. And when it does, if we have freedom and control with what we are doing and not letting somebody else control us, then we could be there when it matters, and it was tough last year. It was tough the end of last year, since October up until about March. It was a very challenging time, but I was able to go back. I was able to be there for family, come back home, go back and still spend more time with family, take time off for myself, for also working on my own health as well. A lot of things, uh and I debated if I even wanted to talk about this. I did. I was like, do I want to bring this up? How much do I want to share? But I've also remembered that I made a commitment when I started this journey that I was going to be completely open, that I was going to let you all see inside, because I have no doubt that I'm not alone in this. And even though things might be cool right now, there are some of us out there who have lost somebody close to us, that have, had health issues come up, and had to, not knowing what to do. Like, what do we do when this happens? If we're a freelancer running an agency, like, what do we do? Now, if we're working at a job and we're doing a 9 to 5, well, we go to HR, we fill out requests, and we hope we don't lose our job and take a pay cut and worry about, paying bills, because, all those things. But that's something else. For those of us who are doing this independently, well, it's going to happen. And, I'm lucky that, when life showed up for me last year, the end of last year, that I took time to prepare and made sure I was ready for it, that I was able to take time off, that I was able to say, okay, I'm not going to take on any projects with clients. I am going to pass off clients that need help to people I trust, that, that I'm going to make sure they're taken care of. And that's the reason why I have a network of designers, developers, and people like all of you out there, while we build these networks, so that way we can continue to take care of our clients when something happens, and we could walk away and we could be there for family and be there for ourselves and for health and all that, and take that time off. Another thing that we have to do is to make sure we save up. Now, one thing I learned starting my own web business is that I cannot live check to check. I cannot depend on that, because we never know when the drought is going to come. We never know if a client or a big project is going to be late on the payment. So I learned the hard way that we have to save up to at least minimum, always have saved up 4 months of overhead, both business overhead and personal overhead, where you could be good for 4 months. If possible, 6 or 8 months or even a year is better. But a good place to start is those 4 months. And then, when it does happen and, things happen, we just got to remember what's most important, and be there for family and to take care of yourself. So, yeah, I was really debating about going there, but this is real, and a lot of us we go through it. A lot of us, we have to live life. It's one thing being out here in the Facebook groups, out here creating videos and staying positive and teaching. I always want to do that, and that's why I have to work on myself, and that's why I have to take time off, and that way other people that go through it knows that they aren't alone, that when it does happen, that you're not alone with it. There's other people that could show you how to do it and get through it. And I'm very fortunate too. I did have mentors in my corner to help out with that. And yeah, let me see. So I'm back. Okay, long story short, I took my time off. All right. I got a break. I dropped 10 kilos, yo. I gained a lot of weight. I dropped it. I am right now. I feel like I'm on fire and I'm back on track again. I did a lot of work to make sure that I could be. With the little bit of time that I did have, I made sure I still had time. I didn't just check out completely. I dedicated all that time to the Pro Academy and to still, put out some videos here and there, but really it was to the Lytbox community. I wanted that to me has been my main priority. Even when I had a little bit amount of time, it would go over there. So this last week, and still right now, we're doing some updates inside of the Lytbox Pro community and the Lytbox Academy community. Or I know it's a mouthful. I still need to I still need to solidify the brand messaging and all that. And I'm working on it. But we made a big change this last week and we opened it up to the public. So now there are public spaces. I used to be really active in Facebook, but I really don't like being on Facebook anymore. I don't like what I see when I go on there. There are things on there, especially now things are getting all political. I just don't like going on it. It's not like what it used to be. So I spend more time there and I open it up for the public. In fact, let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen again. All right, I think I got this down a little bit better. Whoa, what happened? Oh yeah, over here. All right. Cool. So this is what we've had this now for a couple of years, but I've never really put it out there. I never really spoken about it. And we've been a small tight-knit community on here where we are, we have our weekly events. We have, like you can see here, all of our past events. We are always having weekly calls. Sometimes they're workshops. Been wanting to do more. Some of you watching are already in here. I know, like La Rosa, and many of you are already members, have been pro members for a while. This is where we got the courses, but really up here, the community where we are connecting, networking, supporting each other. And, when you are part of something like this, it is a lot different from a Facebook group. If you need help with something, you go to a Facebook group and you're going to get tons of random answers. Some of them are helpful, some of them aren't. You got to sift through them. But when you're inside something like this, it's more tight knit and it's more invested with people who really just want to be better and learn. In fact, everybody watching this right now, everybody here wants to learn and do better. That's the reason why you're watching stuff like this. So we've had this, and what I did was I opened up free space. Now I still got some things to update on here. We did a lot of back end work, but you're going to be hearing me talk about this a lot more because this is now, has been where my focus is, but now we have our free community over here, our free spaces. So that way we're not hidden. We're not hidden from everyone. Events like this. Next week, I have an event coming up, a webinar with InstaWP. It's going to be on building multiple revenue streams for freelancers and agency owners. It's a topic that I have a whole lot of passion for because it was multiple revenue streams that, let me stop sharing. Let me go over here. It was building multiple revenue streams that took me from being desperate and scared agency owner that lived project to project and was eating noodles to building, a thriving agency, an agency that was successful. So I look forward to that. But we're going to be using that space to communicate all that. You know what? I'll go ahead and share a link as well. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll put it, you know what? I think I have it memorized. GPS. All right, we'll give that a try. I think that's it. I just typed it in. All right, we'll see. All right, let me catch up on the comments now. Awesome, man. I'm so glad to see everybody here. Dope, 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 dope. And let me go. Can I don't know if I could pin this right here. I'm in my software right here. This is One of those good purchases I got from AppSumo, Wave.video. Oh, dope. Nice, nice. I see some first time people here. That's wow, man, that's crazy. Sometimes you sit in a room and talk to a camera all day long, and then you see the connections it makes, man. And this right here, this is what it is all about. I'm just trying to look through. I saw I think it was Kevin Gary that did it. He had a really good idea for questions. And I think we should do something like that because sometimes, like I just start talking like this, get deep into thought. When I do talk, like something about me is I never write scripts. I never do it. I don't have teleprompter. I don't have a teleprompter. Uh, Speech is always something I've struggled with. And at times when I do tap into something that's right in here, then it just comes out. It just flows. And that's when I feel like I'm at my best when it's coming from right in here. So often we'll be like in a call like this and it'll just come out. So when that happens, I'm missing everything else that's going on because I'm just right here. So I think going forward, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and put a hashtag and then questions. That way I could filter through and I could just kind of like zoom through and I could see if somebody has a question because one thing I want to do is I want to make sure, we're doing this that everybody could get supported, like if you have a question, this is the time. Another thing Another thing too, if anybody wants a breakdown of their website or a client's website you're working on, and if you got a little bit of thick skin and you're ready for like real honest creative direction, let me know. Be happy for us to go through. I won't be totally brutal just to break it down to tear it down, but we're going to take it through a real creative direction process. It's what I've done for many years. I was a creative director, worked with a lot of designers, and it's fun. It's fun. I love seeing it because I've since I've started doing this for a while now, I've had the chance to see a lot of people when they're new, but I've had the chance to see some of them stick it through. They stuck it out. They took the feedback and they actually listened. And I see their skills out where they are today. And I look at them like I would hire you. Like that's how I feel like, dude. All right. I know when I got a project and I need to reach out to somebody, I need to bring somebody else on. All right, they're good. They got this. And it's a great feeling seeing it. I've seen people that you would not believe, like you would never think they could go into Figma, create a super dope mock-up and build it on Elementor with the details. All right. You would never believe it, but there are people out there that really put a lot of time and energy into this and they learn. So I'm happy to do the breakdowns. All right, cool. And I see a couple questions already. All right, so I'm going to start off with the questions here. All right, let me get some of my tea. Okay, so Eddie asked, so Eddie, okay, you enrolled inside the Ultimate SEO for WordPress course, and with the recent organization, do you have more of a benefit? I believe you do because there's one thing that has changed for the courses, and that is there's now a student community. So anybody who enrolls in a course, no matter what course it is, you're going to have lifetime access to the student community. Before, we had a dedicated space for student support for every single course. But I found that a lot of students that needed support had questions. They use a chat inside the lessons. And that the extra spaces, and since there was 4 courses, there was 4 support spaces that they were cluttering things up. They're a little bit confusing, and now we've removed that clutter, that confusion. And here's the benefit right here, that is that all students now could connect with each other. So let's say you are working on the WordPress SEO course, and you have a question, or you need some help, or you need somebody to take on, you got a new client, you don't want to do WordPress maintenance yourself. Well, you could reach out inside our student community, and you could talk with other people who are, who have worked the WordPress maintenance plans course, and you could collaborate and network. In our pro community, we keep it very, we don't have a bunch of channels where we talk. We pretty much have one network that we talk in one space. And just about like, just about most people in there are working with each other. People are connecting and collaborating. And you hear, I keep hearing like, hey, they're partnering up on this, partnering up on that. So that is where it could be really useful. Also, we have like the Elementor course. Maybe you want to talk to somebody who has a good design eye. One thing, let me take that off. One thing that I found early on as an agency owner is that hiring people is risky. I've taken a whole lot of loss, financial loss and time loss from hiring people, because when we go to something like Upwork, Fiverr, whatever it is, and we try to hire somebody because we need help for a project, well, it's really risky because we don't know if they're actually going to deliver. We don't know the quality that they have. It's just like when clients hire us, they're taking a big risk. And it's the same thing. And, it's happened often where I would hire a designer or developer and they could not deliver. The quality was low. They didn't communicate well. Things went late. And then I had to still pay him because that's the right thing to do. I got to pay, but then I would have to redo it myself or even hire somebody else to do it. So, when we are connecting inside these communities, we know that we're connecting with people who have shown that they are willing to invest, that they are willing to do the work and invest their time, energy, and money as well to get better because they care that much. So it's a much safer place to connect with people. I know that's a long answer for a short question. All right, let's see. I got a few more questions here. I'm just going to go down and look for those hashtags. All right. Is there any way we could replace add to cart button with some other, like what's up, WhatsApp chat? Uh, is this for a WooCommerce site, or because the only add to cart button would be for like WooCommerce? If not, if you don't need WooCommerce or you're not using a cart, then you can use a WhatsApp. Oh, but you want to pay? Yeah, I have a lot of questions about this. Now, if they need to pay to get into that WhatsApp chat, that's another story. You could use off the top of my head, you could use something like SureCart or StudioCart and set up triggers and automations with Zapier, or there are other automation tools as well out there. So yeah, look at the thing is, if I do not need WooCommerce, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to try everything I can do to not use it. I would only use Woo if it's absolutely necessary. It's big, it's clunky, it's a pain, and it also costs a lot more to do a Woo website. I charge a whole lot more for it because I've already done them for years and I know what kind of a pain they could be and how much work is unforeseen. But yeah, this is definitely, anything is possible. But to me, I mean, I got a few more questions about this and how it will work. I would say yes, it is possible. All right, I'm just going to skim through. Okay, roadmap. Okay, you got Elementor Pro and want to start your own business as a web designer and hopefully make money from it, even as an agency. Courses help, but there are some things you could do first. All right. They could help out most definitely. Uh, I would say if you're, and this all depends on where your skill level is, because the first thing you need to do is acquire a skill that is good enough that could deliver value that you could charge for. That's the first thing you have to do. And to acquire that skill, it takes just a lot of time, it takes a lot of dedication, and it takes obsession. You have to be obsessed. All right. My girlfriend right now, she is learning coding. She's starting off with HTML and CSS. That's where I started off. And you could do this for free using free courses. That's always going to be the place that I would say to start, especially if you want to go down the route of building websites. Elementor is going to help, and even other page builders, they're going to help out. They're going to help you out with utilizing the skill you're acquiring to do better and faster. And it's going to save you time so you could be more productive. But before just jumping in, I would say give it about a good 4 to 6 months of grinding every single day, taking free classes of HTML and CSS. Get to the point where you can use HTML, CSS, and do some basic stuff just inside of a text editor. Get that part down. Get an understanding of how hosting works. Host your own website and just start building it and playing with it. And then the next thing is pick a site or a couple of them and start replicating sites. That is one of the quickest ways you are going to get better. Once you do that and you put in like a good 4, 5, 6 months, first off, you should be good enough already to at least deliver small amounts of value. Now, when you start off, your skills just aren't there. You don't have the experience yet. But we also got to make money to support ourselves. I started charging at about 6 months in. And I sucked. My it was terrible. I learned HTML and CSS like the back of my hand. And I never even knew about WordPress at the time, but I was obsessed and I would stay up all night, every single night, 7 days a week, crazy hours, just learning. And that first year, I barely made anything. I made enough to get by. But what happened is I got better and I was able to charge more. I got better talking with clients and pricing. And then I started to learn my pain points. I started to learn things that I wanted to get better, that I was stuck. That is when it's time to invest. That's when it's time, I feel, to buy courses and go in. I just picked up a course a couple weeks ago. I bought it from Dan Co. It wasn't a cheap course. I got it though because I have faced a specific pain point that I felt that course could help me out with and get me to where I see myself where I want to go, where I could see myself going. That is when to get the course. Now, uh, for mine, I have the design with Elementor, but I got the new one coming out in a couple of months. So I would say give it some time. Uh, I know that the business side of me should be trying to sell, but it's not about that. It's not about that. I want to see you do good. I want to see you succeed. And I know that even if you buy 20 courses, if you aren't obsessed about this, focused, dedicated, sacrificing, grinding, and just putting in the work, that it doesn't matter how many courses you get. That you aren't going to, you're just going to fall off. I would like to see somebody grind really hard, I would say. Okay, I'm rambling now. It's getting late. If you got a follow-up question, go ahead and ask me, Roman. And also, if you want, check it out, man. Reach me inside our community as well. Do you know what? That is a place where I feel most would get anybody starting a freelancer agency is going to get the most amount of value, more than a course. I really, really believe that because it was when I was going on 3 years since I started learning how to build websites to building an agency when I hit that painful, painful wall, when it was so bad that I almost gave up on all of it. I almost did. It was very, very close. Like my fail was so big and so painful that that was about it. But that is when I discovered Chris Doe and his future pro community. And I joined the pro community. I was broke. I barely could afford rent. It was a bit of a scary time for me. I took really big losses in my agency. And I went ahead and I still joined paying 150 a month, and that changed everything because then I was in a community focused group that was full of people going in a very similar direction that I wanted to go in. That was at different levels. Some of them were new like me. Not new, I was 3 years in, but some of them were much newer, like brand new. Some were at my level too, kind of stuck, just trying to figure this out. And then some were way ahead, already built $1 million agencies, but still wanting to learn to get better. Being in that gave me the focus that I needed to go in, and that took me to a whole other level. That next year is when I excelled and when my life just completely changed. So, if anything, I would say go into our community at the Lytbox that we have on Circle because that's what it's for. And uh, I feel like most that want to go in that career path of a freelancer or agency owner is going to get a lot more value just being in a hyper focused, invested community like that. How long has this been? Oh, wow, it's already been an hour. Hmm. All right. Oh, wait, we already got that. Did I go all the way back? Let me see. Awesome, Dave. Oh, man. I'm glad to see you there, dude. I really, really am, man. I really am. Yeah. Okay, I'm kind of just scrolling through right now, seeing if I catch anything. Do you know what? This is a really good one, Chris. I'm really glad that you mentioned this. I hope I could bring it up. We're not going to go like deep into it, but first, man, you work at an agency, and I think you got a huge advantage. You're able to see how it is done, and if your work is high quality, that's awesome. I would love to see your work. Uh, I wish I would have started off at an agency. If I would have, if I would have started doing this earlier in life and started at an agency, I'm sure my business would have uh, been much different. It would be a whole lot different. Uh, what I say for this is go with what makes you happy, man. It's not all about just being a freelancer and agency owner. Uh, if a creative, we're creatives. That's what we do. And, we just like to create things. So look at when the time comes and you feel like it's time, uh, just know you are taking with you a much bigger advantage than what most of us have because you had that experience. And also cold calling, don't do it. Never will do it. I don't believe in cold calling. I believe in permission marketing. I believe in developing sales skills and more about warm calling, warm outreach, but never, I'm not a cold calling person. That's not my style. I don't think you get the right kind of clients cold calling. That's just my personal belief on it, but that's just me. All right. Okay, so Abbas, okay, you came back. All right. Replace the add to cart button using WooCommerce, but want to disable add to cart for some product and allow them to only chat. Do you know what? That would take some digging around, but search. There are all kinds of things, all kinds of extra plugins for WooCommerce that does that. That's where I would start. I would start searching, checking out other plugins. To me, that sounds like it's something that's out there already. So search for that. Okay, Keys. All right. Uh, is that your name, Keys? Okay. I'm out here in Thailand. So I've been living in Thailand for 8 years. I quit my job at the Home Depot and took everything I had. Well, no, I sold everything I had. Mostly had $600 and got around a one-way ticket to Thailand and a computer. And I didn't even know how to use a computer because I never used a computer before. It wasn't until 8 years ago when I came out here and I got obsessed and started learning code. And this took me on this journey. So yeah, I'm out here now in Hua Hin, Thailand. Cool, Dave. Good to see you, man. I'm about to take off myself. What's going on, Hank? All right, I'm just going to catch up on all the chats. Looks like we're caught up. Okay. Oh, Case. Okay, cool, cool. I love being able to pronounce everyone's names properly. Sometimes it's hard with the handles on YouTube. Plus, it's also late night here, and I'm starting to slip. But awesome, man! I'm really good, glad to see you here. We're going to be doing this a lot more often. All right, really quick, what we have coming up? Uh, let me see. Let me see. All right, we're going to be doing some stuff and having some fun. I want some fun. All right, I want to have some fun. Like I like these open talks, open ask me anything type of formats like this, but they're not all going to be like this. So some of the things I'm going to do is just open up a live, not even going to talk that much, and I'm going to be working on some stuff, taking Figma mockups, putting them to Elementor, taking the same exact Figma mockup, building that inside bricks. And right now, I'm starting to teach myself breakdance. I want to do the same there. I want to start showing some more processes. For me, I do this stuff for fun. So I'm like, why not just turn on the camera and share the process and get an inside look on it? And that way, we could geek out, we could learn. Also opens up the chance to ask questions as well, like, hey, why'd you do this? And then I learn as well because a lot of you also have your own techniques and your own, practices. And the one thing that I've learned about best practices is there's always ways to do things better. There's never like this is it. There's always going to be ways to do things better. So we're constantly learning to just get better constantly, including myself. All right, James, let me see. I see the question hashtag. Okay, you've been looking into Ahrefs Uber Suggest for SEO, but I'm still leaning towards Uber Suggest. You know what? Uber Suggest is great. That's where I started. I got an LTD on it. I still use it for a lot of things. It is great now because I'm doing some bigger stuff. I'm using SEMrush, but I would say until you are going to get a payoff from it, I would stick with something like Uber Suggest. Even, there are some things on AppSumo as well that have been there for a while that are really good too. I think one is something Guru on there. A lot of the ones on AppSumo, they might be good temporarily for like a year or two, or sometimes you get lucky and they stay growing. But that's where I would start off just to get, the hang of it, starting to learn. Uh, I would only jump into something like Ahrefs, SEMrush when it financially makes sense. Site Guru, that's it. Thanks, Case. All right, Chris asks courses on how to get clients via warm outreach. Not yet, not yet. I think for something like this, Uh, I could do. I feel like workshops and webinars would be great for something like this, and also our live chats. We could do workshops here as well. Uh, you know, I remember when I was struggling finding clients, and I was in the Future Pro group, and I got lucky in one of the calls. See, I was always quiet in the calls because there's a lot of people very advanced, and it was a bit intimidating being on a call with Chris Do, because here I am learning from him, and it's not just that easy to jump out. I'm an introvert. I'm not this extrovert that wants to take over conversations. It's not who I am. So I was always quiet. Uh, and I remember on one of the calls, I finally raised my hand, and I forgot what the question was, but I told that I said that, like, hey, I'm always quiet because like, I'm a bit more introverted, and look, it's you, man. You're the master, Chris. No. And so I found out a lot of people felt that way. So that was the first time like I broke the ice. And then on another call, uh Chris, he picked one person, and it was me, to go over on a marketing plan to learn how to find clients. And I went through some exercises on that call that was really eye opening. And now I take those same exercises, uh, learning how to find clients, because we're all different. One thing I found is that we all have different circumstances, different locations, different client types, different skill sets, different passions. We're all different in so many ways that there is no one size fits all to finding clients. So, by going through a couple of exercises, there are ways that we could find what is going to work best for us to find clients. And I do those. I've done them inside workshops inside of our community. It is something that I want to do more. So I'm happy to do more of those workshops. I did the same thing with business coaches as well. I invested in all of that. It really did help out. All right, so talk about warm outreach. So there are a couple of ways that I think work really well with warm outreach. The one way that worked very well for me was going to business meetups. So I was living in Bangkok, and Bangkok is it's a business hub. They have a lot of business meetups there. It's just a place to go to these networking events. There are paid ones, there are free ones. I always went to the free ones, but I would go into them and I would just start to connect. And one thing I would do when I was in there, because I was always nervous, like, you might see me talking to a camera and doing stuff and going on events, but still, it took a long time for me to get a bit more comfortable doing this. So what I did was I would go to these events, and we would meet people, but all I would do is ask them about what they do. I wouldn't go there talking about websites and talking about anything. I would just go in and ask what they do and keep asking questions, learning about each person. And what I found was that as an introvert, it worked very well, uh, because people like to talk about themselves. People want to talk about their business and what they're doing, and want to let other people know. So, and I wanted to learn. And during that process, after they're talking for quite some time, then they would ask what I do. And that's when I talk about building websites. And so many times, it was very often when they talked about, yeah, we've been wanting to update our website. Yeah, we've been thinking about doing it. Or, "Yeah, we have one, but we're not too excited about it." Things like that would come up, and, they would ask for the contact. And that would be the warm outreach right there. And then, I'd always have a business card handed to them, get their business card, and then follow up on an email like a week later, and then tell them, "Hey, it was really nice meeting you. I thought it was great. Do you have plans to go to any more networking events inside Bangkok? Do you have any that you think are great to check out?" I want to talk about a website. It's keeping it warm, and that's what warm outreach is. It's about building a connection before you're even just trying to sell something. Cold outreach is all about being cold and just trying to sell, but a warm outreach is just reaching out, connecting, and then you'd be surprised how these relationships all turn into really big projects. And another thing about cold outreach is usually they're one-off projects for lesser pay, with clients who are okay to take that kind of a risk. But when you do the warm outreach, you're building that relationship and you're nurturing it, and you're going to make a lot more on lifetime value than you are going to make on a project. Lifetime value is where the real money is at when you are building an agency. Another way of doing warm outreach is by, if you can go and check out other people's websites, you can look for opportunities and you could also reach out to them. But, it's like, for an example, let's say you are in a niche of working with law firms' websites and you're checking out the ones in your community, inside your area, wherever, your focus is at, and you're finding opportunities and you're listing them out. Well, you could take like a couple hours on one. Like you could take like one day, I'm going to reach out to 4 people, but it's a full day. And you are putting together a Loom video. You're finding stuff to help them out. You're not asking them for anything, but maybe just a call just to help out, or here you go, just giving something for free. I am, now that I'm doing this on YouTube and stuff like that, I get outreaches all the time. And most of the outreaches I get are cold. I could tell it's a template. I could tell that the only difference in the email I'm getting versus somebody else that they're sending an email to is the name field. Sometimes they even get that wrong, and I don't have time for it. I don't pay it attention because they did not take time for me. Why am I going to take time for them? But every now and then I get somebody reaching out that says, hey, I really like this. This helped out. Something, just thinking, something like that. That's it. Not asking for anything. And I'm going to get back to that because that person took time. So that's what I mean by a warm outreach. Now, for what's going to be a warm outreach that works best for you is going to determine uh your niche, your location, your skill level, a lot of things. And it might be LinkedIn, building relationships on there. If you could do networking in your community, if you could get involved in a chamber of commerce, like if I was in the US, man, I'd be crushing it because I would have chamber of commerce. I know some web creators, I know some solo agencies that are absolutely crushing it. And they're just involved in their chamber of commerce and with businesses, and man, man, like doing very, very well financially, and clients galore. So yeah, that's my take on warm outreach. All right, it's getting a bit late here. I'm going to answer one more question. We're going to sign off. And this last question, Case. All right. So Case is asking, is it extra difficult working abroad? Nah, not at all. It's got its pros and cons. It's got its pros and cons. But I love it. Now the whole digital nomad thing, that part is different. So originally, that's what I wanted to do. Uh, I was burnt out at the Home Depot, and I was a manager at one of the craziest stores you could be at, the one right next door to Dodger Stadium. It's like in the top 10 for sales and number one for theft. Like it was absolutely insane being a manager there, and it broke me. And I went to go take a trip backpacking through Southeast Asia. First time ever leaving LA. And my world opened up and I saw the digital nomads, and that's when it hit me. I didn't even know how to use a computer, but that's what I want to do as a digital nomad. So I came out here chasing the digital nomad life. That's what I thought I wanted. But what I found out is, if you really want to do this and you want to be good, and you can't really, I find that I can't be productive, like constantly traveling from hotel to hotel, or, being on beaches and stuff like that. Like for me to be productive, to build systems, processes, and like really grow and do anything like going towards my goals, well, then I need something stable. So being overseas, I love it. I love where I live. It's, like my life is incredible because of it. It's got its pros and cons, but overall, Just basically the digital nomad life is different from, having a home and something stable. Okay, as you can see, I am starting to trail off. You see that proof right there, All right, Chris, thank you. Thank you for look at this stuff works. And I love sharing this kind of stuff. And I love it when others share what is working for them. This is how we learn and grow. If we're not sharing this stuff, then we're keeping it all in. And a lot of us are out trying to figure it out alone. So you're in the Netherlands. Man, that is awesome. That is really dope. Yeah, yeah, you gotta do it. But that to me, that's the fun part, Okay, and this is for Kate talking about the local, the ways of the locals. To me, that is the fun part, the different cultures. I know that my time here in Thailand is getting short. I have plans to leave Thailand in about a year and a half from now. Uh, Not sure where I'm going to go. Uh, Part of me has always wanted to live in Europe. I do want to get a home back in the US, so that's on my plans. But definitely next on my list, if I'm going to leave somewhere else, it's going to be somewhere in Europe, somewhere like Italy, somewhere out there. Not sure where yet. Portugal. There's a lot of good options out there. Okay, that is it. So check it out. We're going to be back next week. We're going to get back into the swing of things. And look it, we're not just gonna like I'm glad I got to dust off these cobwebs and it actually feels really good. But a lot of these coming up are going to be very sporadic. They're going to be very spontaneous. Like, last night preparing the design video, I should have just turned on the camera. I'm going to start doing that. All right. So you're going to see a lot more of these going forward. I look forward to seeing all of you back over here. Thank you so much for everybody that joined, that, was active and all that. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day or night. All right. I think it's time to sign off. Cheers.